Now we're going to take a look at who's required to complete the biennial report and what needs to be reported. So first, who must complete the report? The first category is large quantity generators. The next category is treatment, storage, and disposal facilities, or TSDFs. So these are permitted facilities that receive hazardous waste from off-site, and they're treating, storing, or disposing of that hazardous waste. We don't have any commercial TSDFs in the state of Hawaii, so this training is really going to be focused on how a large quantity generator needs to fill out this report. Others who need to fill out the biennial report include reverse distributors of pharmaceuticals, recyclers of hazardous waste, and sites that are managing hazardous secondary materials. So if you're not sure whether you're a large quantity generator, then this is a very important slide to go over. And once I finish the slide and everything is showing, you should pause the video and really give this some thought to figure out whether or not you need to fill out the report, because that's really the first step. So a site is a large quantity generator if in any single calendar month of the reporting year, it did any of the following. If you generated 1,000 kilograms or 2,200 pounds of hazardous waste, if you generated 1 kilogram or 2.2 pounds of acute hazardous waste, or if you generated over 100 kilograms or 220 pounds of spill cleanup material that's contaminated with acute hazardous waste. So at this point, you're wondering, what is acute hazardous waste? If you have acute hazardous waste on your site, you probably know it, but acute hazardous waste are acutely toxic chemicals, and most of them are on the waste code list beginning with the letter P. So for example, P001 is warfarin or Coumadin, which is a pharmaceutical that is very widely used and found in most hospitals and retail pharmacies. So if you're not a large quantity generator and you're not a treatment, storage, and disposal facility, then you probably don't need to complete the report. So it's possible that some of you got an email from me saying, hey, you need to do this report because of the status that is listed for your site in the database. And that status may not be accurate. So if you're not a large quantity generator and you're not a TSDF, you don't need to do the report, but you need to contact me and you need to update the site's status so that we know why there's no report for that site. And we don't look at that as the report is missing and you're in violation. So for those of you who do need to complete the report, take a deep breath. Maybe roll your shoulders back, just relax. I'm here to help you. So that's what the rest of this video is going to be for, is to try to make this process as easy as it can be. So don't worry about it if you have to fill out the report. I'm going to walk you through it. And of course, you're welcome to call or email me for help. Once you determine that you do need to complete the report, the next thing is, what must be reported? This is one of the most important things to understand as you're preparing to fill out your report before you actually sit down to complete the report, so that you can collect all the right information and resources that you'll need. Your report should include all hazardous waste that was handled on your site during the reporting year. So again, that's the odd numbered calendar year. So waste that was shipped off-site or managed on-site during the reporting year, which includes waste that was generated the year before. And even if it was shipped on January 1st, that means it was on site on January 1st. And so that's going to be included in your report. If you have waste that was managed on site, like you're treating your own waste on site, then that would also be reported. But I know that most of you don't, and you're shipping the waste to a TSDF on the mainland. Waste that was generated during the reporting year, including waste that was shipped off-site or managed on-site the following year. This waste may not even have been shipped off yet when you're filling out your report. And then also you're going to report any waste that was received from another site. So if you're consolidating VSQG waste at your LQG site, you're going to report that waste that you received. If your site is a TSDF, any waste that you received. And then also if you were importing waste, I don't think any of you are, but if you imported hazardous waste into the US, then you're sort of the generator of record for that waste, and that needs to be included as well in your report. So just to further illustrate about all the waste handled during the reporting year, basically that means you have 3 different sets of waste. So the first block here is representing waste that was generated starting in November of the previous year. So for example, maybe some waste that was generated starting in November 2022, and the waste was shipped off-site in February 2023. If the reporting year is 2023, you're going to include the shipment of that waste. So you would report the amount that was generated during the reporting year, starting from January 1st, and the amount that was shipped. So the amount that was shipped could be higher if some of it was generated the year before. Then you also have waste that was generated and shipped in the same year, the reporting year. So the second block here, you have some waste that started being generated in April and was shipped off around July 1st. And then you also have the third block, waste that was generated during the reporting year. So beginning in October, say, and then that waste may be finished being generated in November, but it was stored on site and it was shipped off in January of the following year. So you're going to report the amount that was generated during the reporting year. And then for shipped, you would report 0 because it wasn't shipped during the year that you're reporting on. So you're just reporting a snapshot of what happens with the waste on your site during the reporting year. Now, if your site generates a lot of waste, you may want to separate those 3 categories out. It's very helpful to put notes into the comments section when you're dealing with quantities that don't match. And you're going to report for the entire year, the odd numbered reporting year, even if you were only in LQG for part of that year. And you do not include waste that doesn't count towards your generator status. So this would be universal waste managed under Chapter 11-273.1, episodic event waste that's managed under 40 CFR Part 262, Subpart L, as that's incorporated and amended in Chapter 11-262.1. And pharmaceuticals and electronic nicotine delivery system waste that is managed under 40 CFR Part 266, Subpart P, as that's incorporated and amended in Chapter 11-266.1.